today crew of new YouTubers compared to last year. Like last year we had Fruit and about 1,000 watts, and we had Holtz. This year we got a new crew. I'll let them introduce themselves.
My name is, whoa, I'm really loud. My name is Clintus McGintis. I am a full-time YouTuber, a daily vlogger with my wife and kids, and gamer. So I make videos, as well as stream, as well as insert everything here. And I may be the oldest person on the panel, and the person who's been doing YouTube the longest. I have 11 years. 11 years.
I am Cacus HD, full-time YouTuber. I've been doing it for about 5 years, which sounded impressive until Clintus's intro. And also I do stream, but not as consistently as I do YouTube. YouTube is definitely where I'm most at home, mainly focusing on Destiny. However, I do dip into other games, and my history is quite diverse, coming from other games and ending up in Destiny.
Hi, my name is Fallout. I have a YouTube channel called Fallout Plays. I am actually a part-time YouTuber. I have a full 9-to-5 job. I've been YouTubing for somewhere between 2 to 3 years. I've focused mainly on Destiny, but you know, all other video game stuff too. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Jez. I mostly just procrastinate, but I also do YouTube videos on the side. I've been doing full-time YouTube for 2 years now, yeah. Alright, so, you know, this discussion is pretty open-ended. They were just like, hey Dado, we're giving you a YouTube panel. And I was like, great, what do you want me to talk about? And they're like, YouTube. And I was like, what about YouTube? And they're like, YouTube. So we're going to be, you know, discussing kind of the ins and outs, you know, how we handle our jobs. We're going to get a little meta with it, you know, talking about YouTube itself. We'll talk about Destiny YouTube as well, and then we'll take some questions towards the end. But I guess I just want to kind of start off with, you know, what are some of the determining factors in why you make a specific video, maybe at that specific time, or why do you choose to do certain videos? Like, for example, I would say half of my videos are specifically because I will get people in my streams asking me the same question over and over and over again. So I think, oh, this probably would be a good video topic. So honestly, I'd say half of my videos are strictly audience based. The audience wants to know something very, very badly, and I might have not spoken about it otherwise had they not insisted on, you know, asking about the topic so often. So, Clint, we'll start with you. What are some of the determining factors in what kind of video you decide to do on a specific day?
So most of my content, I've always been a PvP player, all the way back to my college days with like Counter-Strike 1.6 and Counter-Strike Source, and then Day of Defeat and Tribes 2. Like, I was always PvP. And then fast forward many years later, console, it's all Call of Duty. All I played was Call of Duty. All I did was PvP. Maybe some zombies, but that's it. So when I wanted to make videos, it was always like, I want to play a PvP match and I want to talk about something that was like topical about the game. So even with Destiny, like with new DLCs and new updates, when the new games came out, it was always like, hey, this thing just happened, let's talk about it. Either I'd show it in the video, if it's something like I can actually show. Otherwise, it's more like just a chat. It's almost like a chat. And that's when I realized I really am more of a streamer who does videos, and that's what I started streaming about 2 years ago, because I realized I just like talking, and like the fact that someone can be there and like ask me a question, and I can answer it and we can have a conversation, or like, oh, let me show you real quick, I'll show you how you do that, this is how you do that. That's when I realized I'm much more of a streamer, even though I've been doing YouTube for so long. I've streamed off and on over the years, but the gaming thing was relatively new, like maybe 2.5 years ago. So for me, it's always it's tough. I need like you said with your audience. I need someone to go, you know, something happened, like, oh, I want to talk about that, because that's how my vlog started years ago. Instead of writing a blog post, I would sit in front of a webcam or a camcorder, and I would talk about a topic for X amount of minutes, and then I'd edit that up, and that was my video blog. and then eventually turned into a light thing. That's how it all started. So in my mind, that's still how it works. I need something to talk about. Like video games are just that medium that kind of brings you to say, oh, I'm going to watch this gameplay while I listen to whatever he's talking about, whether it's relevant to the game or not.
Was there a reason you picked a certain blog topic over others? Was it just whatever's on your mind?
It was more of a passion project, like more of like whatever I'm thinking about right now. Things I get excited about, and even to this day in my blogs, whatever my daily life brings, right? So like right now, I'm really into Twitch streaming, right? I just recently got partnership, and so like I'm like advertising my streams on my blogs. And there's some people who are like, we talk about Twitch, we don't care. I'm like, well, some people do, like, people are coming over, like, hey, come for your vlogs. And so whatever I'm into at that moment is what I talk about, it's what I share. So no matter what channel I'm on, it's the same thing. It's like, I just read about this in a blog post, I saw this on Twitter, or I saw another video, this is super cool, I want to try this, right? Like, Dado said it's all about the Dark Drinker, so we're going to take the Dark Drinker into the raid, and, here's my experience with it. And that's how, like, I'll do a video like that. Like, I failed miserably, I don't know how to use a sword. I'm going to stick with a sleeper simulator.
Yeah. All right. Cactus.
So, to answer your question of just, how do you decide to make a video, what videos do you make?
Right.
I think what you said about user-generated questions, that definitely comes up for me. Maybe not as much, but also just, stuff again I'll see around, being asked of myself or other people. I do a lot of guide videos, and that started way back just doing, weapon reviews, and is this weapon good, is this weapon bad? Even for other games, even Battlefield 4, is this weapon good, is this weapon bad? And that kind of translated into larger guides for Destiny, raid guides, and then guides specifically how to beat certain portions of the raid, or what have you, and then also just general guides for just how you're going to level up, easiest ways to improve your character, and the best ways to play certain content. And that is just, a lot of that is just personal experience. Playing the game myself and thinking, hey, this is something that would be useful for people to know. Or even, I find it somewhat funny, I started a character on the Xbox recently. I was doing my own tips to level them up.
Yeah.
And like, so it's...
I put in my own Sleeper Simulant video to go back and it's Sleeper Simulant on Xbox.
Exactly.
How do I do it again?
Exactly. I've looked up my own how to get exotic weapons videos. I've forgotten how to do too. So it's a lot of it personal experience playing the game, and then thinking and looking at what would be useful information to give to your community. And I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, a lot of it comes from what you mentioned, people coming in and asking a lot of questions. They're just curious for information. And to me, there's kind of like two videos that I like to put out on the channel, and some are like passion projects. It's just like, it's a video that I really wanted to make just because it was something I wanted to do. And then in between that, people are coming in and asking questions like, hey, does teabagging the capture zone make the point go faster? I've heard that happens, and they keep going and asking. I'm like, okay.
Yes, it does.
We're going to do a little research. So then you go in and you do what you do, but it's very much a lot of listening to what's going on in the community. I'm reading up on Reddit, I'm listening to conversations on Twitter, seeing what people are talking about. I'm like, wow, a lot of people are talking about Warlock melee range or shotgun range. I should probably go and take a look about that. But it's a combination of just listening to where the community is talking about whatever it is that they're talking about, and other projects that I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to just make something that I really want to make and share with the people.
Jez, you definitely take a much more comedic approach to your videos, so I'm interested in your answer.
Just quickly, Fallout, what I love about your videos is that Destiny kind of hides a lot of its numbers. So I love, people always have these crazy theories about teabagging the point, but you actually go in and do the work and test these theories, so I always appreciate your videos, man.
Thank you.
And my videos are 100% vibe-based. Am I excited about making this video? Cool, I'll do that. Am I really pissed off and soul-crushed every time I play Trials or Iron Banner? Yes, I am. So I was like, God, I have to talk about this. Is no one else frustrated? So that's how I came up with the nutshell videos, and yeah, that's my whole vibe.
Now, have any of you ever used your analytics to sort of guide where your content's going? Like, for example, I put out much more frequently in years prior. But I used to put out a lot of challenge mode videos where we just like we set us a stupid goal that we wanted to do, or killing Crota or killing Skolas, just killing something. But I went back to my analytics, and I would see on some of my videos that, on some of these challenge modes that ran pretty long, like, okay, they're watching like the first 3 minutes, and then my watch time in the middle is like nothing, and then the watch time at the end like spikes back up. So that kind of changed the way I handle my challenge mode videos. Is, people want to know the rules, they want to see you mess around a little bit, and then as soon as they kind of get the gist of it, they're like, all right, I'm done. Let me just see you do the thing, and we're done. Yeah. So that was something that has kind of changed the way I approach that series of videos. So have you guys ever used your own stats to sort of guide how you approach certain videos? Like maybe you use your watch time to see like, okay, maybe this joke wasn't funny, or this bit wasn't working and people skipped over it, or maybe people are just not interested in this video series at all. How have you guys used your data to kind of drive how you do YouTube content? Jess, we'll start with you down there.
Like I said, 100% vibe-based, no numbers. Numbers are the enemy. Yeah, I never have. It's just like, is the feedback good? Cool. Is it getting more likes and dislikes? Cool, I'm gonna keep doing that. And that's it.
Right.
In depth. Got it.
Yeah, really in depth.
I love you so much, Jez. I think the biggest number that I look at that might occasionally drive where my YouTube videos are going are the viewership numbers. I'm like, are just people looking at it? Are they really enjoying it? Do they want more of it? So like, I'll put out a video like, what you can survive while wearing the RAM, like an armor-based video, and a ton of people really enjoyed that. They wanted to like learn about the armor, about the armor in the game. And I was like, wow, okay, so they really like that. So, I mean, next time an armor update comes out, I'm definitely going to do one because they're really into it. But, I find sometimes that the numbers can sometimes be maybe misleading because I'll put out like a really, or maybe not really funny, but a relatively funny video that I was just like, yeah, why not? It was kind of funny, I'll put it out there. And I thought it wouldn't really do anything because videos like that on my channel maybe haven't done super well, but I like putting out content and stuff like that, and all of a sudden it'll get like 5 times the views or 10 times the views of what I normally get, and I'm like, oh damn, maybe they want more of that. And then a month later I'll do another one sort of like that, and then way down low, nowhere near the other one.
Right.
So it can kind of be a little bit random, but I will sometimes base it on viewership if I think people want to see more of something that they're enjoying so far.
Analytics are a trap. Not 100%, but you generally want to use analytics to guide what you're going to do. If your video does well, maybe you want to make more videos in that same style or of that same series. And if it doesn't do well, especially if you try a new game, if you try Mass Effect Andromeda and the videos tank, should you keep putting your time and effort into that? Maybe not. Yeah. At the same time, it's very hard to, it's not that simple that you can't just have a video that does well and say, all right, this is the direction I'm going to go. Like kind of Paul was saying, you really never know. I do the Fan Mid Exotic series, some of you may know of it. I had a video recently that did quite well, like 80,000 views. Just the next episode of that series got like 16,000 views.
Yeah.
So what's happening there? I don't know. It's the same series. Sometimes YouTube just takes a video and runs with it because it appears in your sidebar, and sometimes YouTube's like, guess what? None of your subs are going to see this video. Too bad. So it's very hard to use analytics properly because YouTube has some issues with that. The consistency isn't quite there.
Yeah.
So you really got to just have experience and be able to judge and tell and know what kind of content will be viable and what kind of content you should potentially abandon.
Yeah, I live and die in all the insert adjectives of my analytics. I'm in my analytics all the time. The Creator Studio app is on my homepage. With my main channel be my vlog channel, and that's what pays my bills, and I have wife and kids and everything. It's very critical that now that we can see real-time views, like by the hour, like I already know how good how video is going to do by how many views it got in the first couple of hours. And so I'm always looking at analytics, you know, and then the first 48 hours, 7 days, 30 days, right? Like all my videos, I'm pulling certain ones up because there are so many variables of how YouTube is seen, video is seen on YouTube. The most simplest basic version is you go to your subscription box, and regardless of what any YouTuber says, they're in their subscription box. The problem is that most people, and if I show of hands here, you guys can probably prove my point. Most people open up an app, and it doesn't matter what app it is, but we're talking about YouTube. You open up the YouTube app, you just start scrolling from the homepage, right? Because that's what we do on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Like you just open up the homepage and you start scrolling. Well, the homepage is curated to you based on your viewing habits. So one of the suggested, or I'm sorry, like where the views come from, you know, it's very critical because you can look and see where those views are coming from. Is it coming from the browse features, which is the homepage, which is the subscription box? Is it coming from suggested, which is the sidebar? Is it coming from search? Is it coming from channel, which is like actually on someone's actual channel page? Most of the time it's going to be yours, and sometimes it can be on the featured of someone else's channel. So like looking at those analytics are very critical. Where is the bulk of your views coming from? Is it coming from search? Are you really heavy on the search side, which I imagine you probably are.
Oh yeah.
With your guides and stuff, right? YouTube's a search engine, so like it's the #2 search engine owned by the #1 search engine. And so like thinking about the type of videos you make, looking at what search terms are driving traffic to my videos. So analytics are super important in that retrospect. But again, it depends on the content you make. Certain content maybe people aren't really searching for. It's more like those are the viral, you know, trendy ones. Because the more people that click on the videos and watch them, depending on what they do next, it gets recommended to more people. People that like, oh, he likes this video, well, he also likes this video, and she liked that video, so maybe she'll like this video. Like, there's literally those levers. And so there's just so many variables that, like, it really comes down to the title and thumbnail, like, two of the most important things you do with your video, because that's what people see, and that's what drives it. When they see that, are they going to click it, or are they going to skip it? And then, depending on how many people do that, YouTube determines should we keep showing this to more people or take it away and stop showing it to people. And that's where you see these big crazy dips with different videos. His second episode had a different thumbnail, right, than the first one, I assume.
Like barely, just a different weapon in the front.
Really? Yeah. It's very weird. Usually the thumbnail difference is the big thing. You choose the wrong thumbnail, you choose a better thumbnail than the first time, all of a sudden that first or second video gives a dramatic difference because more people skipped it, more people clicked it in that first 48 hours. So analytics are super important in anything you do really, but specifically YouTube. YouTube keeps getting better with the analytics tools they're giving you, and they're getting ready to launch a new creator studio. They just announced the VidCon last week, and the beta should be coming out here pretty quick. I've seen screenshots of it, and they're giving us more analytics. They're giving us something that we've been asking for forever. I can't say what it is, but it's amazing because it's exactly what I'm talking about. How many people skip the thumbnail versus how many people click the thumbnail? Impressions, like stuff like that. And so the analytics are very important, and YouTube knows this. Google knows this. That's their entire lifeblood is analytics on the ad side. They're pushing that into YouTube.
Wow, what a wonderful way to transition to the next topic.
Well, before you move on there, Dan, I just want to say what he said, even though it didn't apply necessarily to me in that case, he is 100% correct. The thumbnail and title are very important, and I see a lot of people who have smaller channels or just starting. They just simple things like they'll have like pink text with a yellow background. Guys, that you can't see that. It's in the I've seen like thumbnails that you cannot read what people are trying to write. So you really need to be aware of that it's going to be very small, so you don't want to have a paragraph on your thumbnail. You need to have people to read it. It's a very important thing that I think too many people overlook.
I had that problem early on where I thought people were going to be able to read my thumbnails by just putting too many words in it, and
Best thing you can do is whatever image editor you're using for your thumbnails, shrink the thumbnail to this size. If you can read the text and tell what it is, you're good. But if you shrink it to that size, you're like, I kind of read it because I know you typed it. Ask someone else, hey, can you read that? What is that? If they can't. Also, people like 50% of viewership is coming from mobile. So it's on your phone. That's how small it is. It's not on your computer. Yeah.
So that brings us to the next thing I kind of want to talk about, which is like the apocalypse. So I'm sure, all of us up here probably know what it is. I don't know if anyone in the audience is familiar, but basically, I'd say a few months ago, YouTube ran into some issues where like a Coca-Cola ad was running on something that was considered kind of racist on YouTube, and all of a sudden these advertisers really started to freak out about like, oh, like, what are you showing our ads? Like, what are you, insane? Like, we don't want our ads on that, because the ad system is pretty automated for YouTube. Like, basically advertisers will go to YouTube and say like, we want to hit the 18 to 34 female demo in, you know, the western half of Washington who enjoy these things. And YouTube was like, okay, searching for all those people, and these are the kind of videos that they like, so we're going to put the ads on those videos. Now, something like Coca-Cola, that's pretty wide. There's a pretty wide range of people who enjoy Coca-Cola, so that's a little more general. But as a result, advertisers started freaking out because they didn't want their video to be, or their ad to be on racist, hateful videos. And as a result, a lot of people on YouTube, or I'd say a decent chunk of them, were affected by advertisers basically pulling out, or their videos were getting demonetized because they had very sensitive subject matter in them, whether it was, you know, sexual, violence, anything in between. And this affected a lot of people, most notably, at least in my, or in our sphere of the world, in the Call of Duty community, where, you know, the game it's an M-rated game. The new one is about World War II. It's pure violence, and YouTube started cracking down. Now, as of recently, I've seen people's numbers start to come back as advertisers were, you know, getting more comfortable with this situation. But it just kind of led people to start thinking, like, do we need to start changing how we approach content at all? Like, has the adpocalypse affected any of you? And if so, what are you maybe planning to do about that? What are you starting to plan to do? Because me personally, I've been completely unaffected, and I feel like most Destiny YouTubers have been unaffected, thankfully, because the game's not really gory. You know, it does have guns, it does have violence, but it's fantasy violence, so it doesn't really fall into YouTube's, you know, like, videos shouldn't be overtly violent or anything like that. General thoughts.
So none of my videos got demonetized. I didn't lose any video monetization, but my CPMs, the cost per 1,000 views, dramatically went down, and that's because not only did the big advertisers pull their ads off, which they paid higher premiums, but because now there's less inventory. So the cost of an ad went down, right? So normally Coca-Cola would be like, oh, I'm gonna pay $10 for 8,000 views. Well, now that guy's not there, so now the going rate's 5. And, you know, Joe Schmo, you only has to pay $5 for every 1,000 views. And there was less inventory, so normally we all get an ad, now only 2 of us get an ad, and the other 3 didn't. And so, you know, January and February tend to be low months anyways, because everyone spent their ad revenue like in December for Christmas, plus they're getting new budgets for the new year, so they haven't quite figured out what it is. And then usually March, April, everything starts going back up. Well, numbers started going back up, but ad revenue didn't, because the CPMs were low. Like, even though I'm getting more views than I was last month, I'm making less money. And so it started picking back up in May. And I looked at, last time I looked, I think in the beginning of June, looking at May, CPMs were back within like 20 cents of what they were last year. So they've come back to normal. But I wasn't affected by any demonetization, so I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, I wasn't affected by any sort of demonetization or stuff like that. However, the adpocalypse was a real thing. In April, April was when Age of Triumph was getting big, and we were doing I had some very successful videos for the new challenge modes and the raids, and I was getting double the views what I was getting the month previous, but I was making the same revenue, which means I lost 50% of my revenue overnight, essentially.
That is strange, because my Age of Triumph month was, I think, maybe the 3rd or 4th best month I've ever had on YouTube in terms of like viewership and revenue.
I got hit. My viewership was astounding, but I got hit somehow. And my content is not controversial. It's Destiny, like you said, and things have gone back up. But for whatever reason, it impacted me. Maybe because I'm Canadian.
Outside the U.S.
Could be
definitely up for debate. Yeah.
But it was definitely a real thing. And what you said earlier about how to change your content, guys, that is 100%. This is going to impact your content because it's not just the Call of Duty World War II thing that it's gory. It's because the name is World War II. And YouTube decided that when you're an advertiser, you get to click certain things. Do you want your ad playing beside war? You can click war. And obviously, Coca-Cola says, no, I don't like war. Turns out, Call of Duty World War II is part of that. So no one was getting ads on World War II. So that's stuff you really got to watch out for. I know Nkooch, he had a video demonetized because he did a video on the Red Death, and it has death in the title, just a gun. But that's how strict and how paranoid YouTube is right now.
Well,
that is going to impact your content.
It's also that YouTube can't really discern context.
Exactly.
Like that's the biggest problem.
You can appeal that stuff and get it
right,
but it'll be a day without.
Right, exactly. Yeah, but
So-
at the same time, I can't really blame them for not having like the AI technology to realize context in titles and videos. Like,
no one wants to realize
it's insanely
context.
difficult.
No, of course, yeah, you're going to have some, but they definitely changed things. They definitely tightened it up, and I would argue to a ridiculous degree that if you make a Destiny video, you can have a clause where, yeah, if it's about Destiny, you can use the word death. Type of thing, where this whole thing is a lot bigger topic. It's a huge topic. We're trying to answer the best we can just in the scope of Destiny and YouTube, but it will impact your channel. You need to be aware of it. You need to be aware that you've got to just try to honestly, if you're making content, you need to make it more family friendly, just generally.
Or just, I mean, you can make whatever you want, but I would say just don't expect to make money if you're talking about certain things that advertisers don't want to put their ads on. It's up to them. It is up to them whether or not they want to put ads on your videos. You can be Edgelord 420 all you want, but at the end of the day, if you want to make money, you're gonna have to play by their rules. It's up to them. It's not really up to you.
The biggest thing is that there are advertisers out there, obviously, that are more loose, right? The 21 plus, right? Captain Morgan's really big on YouTube. Like they have awesome campaigns that get YouTubers involved in campaigns like that. Your scope gets smaller though, the more adult you get, right? So any YouTube agent, manager will tell you be family friendly, right? Think of kids. Think a lot because kids are the largest demographic on YouTube, hands down, right? Everyone's got a tablet, an iPhone, an iPod.
That's why all those toy channels just exploded out of nowhere, making billions of dollars.
Anywhere from a 3-year-old who mom just puts something on the video and they hand them the phone and they're sitting there just skipping, pushing ads, doing everything. I've witnessed it. It's amazing. They're the ones that are there, and those are the demographics. Because then the little kid says, "Mommy, I want this," and mommy goes, "Oh, okay," and then that's how the ads work, right? So you're just limiting your scope of how many ads can be served to you. You can still make money. You can still do fine. People like Phil DeFranco, right? He does a news show. He talks about very controversial stuff, and on like a weekly basis, his videos are being demonetized because he's talking about controversial stuff. He's reporting the news, right? You think if he was in the news category, he'd be omitted from certain things. That makes too much sense, Clintus. Come on. But I'm just saying, like it's literally that's what it is. Certain words trigger it, and so it's automated. He appeals it. He loses the revenue on his biggest day, the day the video comes out, and then they fix it.
I mean, most of the time, videos work like video games do. You make most of your money within the first couple of days, and then unless it has very, very high searchability or it goes viral or something, it's just you start up and then it just falls down, and it's just a flat line at the very bottom for most of the time. So those first couple of days are so important, so important. And yeah, having demonetization hit on those first couple of days is the worst. Like, if someone gets demonetized 6 months down the road and it's only getting 300 views a day, you'll probably live. But having something demonetized out of the gate is very, very brutal. Fallout or Jez, anything to add?
Yeah, I haven't been affected by the ad situation, and thankfully most of the people who I've talked to in the community also have not been affected, at all or too much.
Right.
But I have to say it's a little concerning, just because, I mean, unlike you fine gentlemen up here, I'm a part-time YouTube boy, you know what I mean? And one of my long-term goals is I really just enjoy doing it. I would love to be able to finally one day free myself from my daytime job and just do it full time. But it's kind of scary to think about something because how quickly all of this happened, you know? It just all of a sudden, boom, it exploded, and then so many people were being affected by it depending on what type of content they put out. And I'm not sure if it's, I don't know, super, I really just hope that it gets better as time continues to go on, you know what I mean?
I feel like YouTube itself tends to overreact, and other people tend to overreact when something controversial happens. And then, you know, it's, oh my God, YouTube's dying, YouTube's dead, start looking at videos, start looking at this, start looking at that. And then slowly but surely, you know, we get things under control, things are understood, and we go back to normal, and it's fine.
Well, things are absolutely going to get better, but the problem is that, like this happened, more stuff will happen down the line.
Oh, I'm sure.
YouTube is very inconsistent.
Yeah.
I mean, this was just like advertisers were finally realizing what videos were hosting their ads, and they were like, no?
You're putting my ad where?
Right, exactly, and they finally caught wind of it, because I feel like for a while they're just kind of like, we don't care, just put them up there, whatever, and, you know, then this finally came out.
Well, there has to be a solution that benefits everybody, right? Because, I mean, think about the content that you watch on TV. There's shows that are like, you know, graphic, you know, maybe raunchy in nature. You think of a show like Always Sunny in Philadelphia, that would be, I mean, if that show existed only on YouTube, that would be a lot of demonetization right there. But I mean, there are advertisers that kind of, they know the show, they like the show, they're like, you know, we might fit in with that crowd if it's not like a, you know, super wholesome, maybe family product like Coca-Cola. I'm just kind of spitballing here. But.
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct.
But a lot of TV is, you know, I'm not going to claim to know anything about advertising on television, but, you know, even you look at something like Breaking Bad, one of the most popular shows in recent memory, and I'm sure advertisers were paying out the ass to get their ads on that show, but because it's an insanely popular show. Like, that's ultimately, I feel like what it's going to come down to for most advertisers is how popular is your thing. But with network television or regular television, there's a lot more control over where advertisements go. You know, AMC is talking to advertisers like, hey, we're selling Breaking Bad time slots, you know, it's $40,000 for a 30-second ad. People, they're in control. They know where their ads are going. They're not sold on a demographic base, but rather on a show-by-show basis. So advertisers don't have to guess. So when they're in control, they can pick and choose much easier. Whereas with YouTube, it's you just set a set of demographics, and then YouTube just throws them wherever those demographics are hitting.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. So
they're definitely very different, and it's much easier to control TV.
And just with YouTube, there's just hundreds of thousands of channels, and it was like 48 to 72 hours of videos uploaded every minute. It's just impossible to track all of it. Jez, anything to add?
Nope, you guys definitely covered it.
Okay. So we're getting to the second half of this. I guess we can talk about Destiny YouTube a little bit specifically, and just kind of the process of how maybe you guys make videos. Maybe to kind of talk about the production process a little bit. For example, every time I want to write something, even if it's a Zer video, I will script everything. I'm horrible at just talking off the top of my head. Most of the time, whenever I tried to do something like that, I always left something out. So I was like, oh, I left out this thing that I wanted to say, so I have to go back and re-chop it in or something like that, or I didn't say something exactly how I wanted to. And considering the nature of a lot of my content, you know, I can be controversial at times, and having a very clear message is incredibly important to me to make sure that my words are not misconstrued, because they have been in the past, even with the script. So I'm much more careful about how I do my videos now based off of past experiences. You know, I know plenty of people who don't script anything at all, and for some people it works very well, for others, you know, maybe it doesn't work very well. So maybe, you know, let's talk about, try and keep it brief because I think we want to take some audience questions. Maybe how do you handle, you know, for example, if you want to start doing a vlog, like how do you decide, like, what's the vlog of the day? Like, what's the production process like?
I'm the exact opposite. I don't script anything. So for my vlogs, it's literally my daily life. My wife and I might think ahead and be like, hey, so on Thursday we should go to the water park, or Friday Bryce has a basketball thing. So like, obviously every YouTube video needs a title and thumbnail. And if I'm capturing my day, for example, I was here yesterday. My wife and my kids are back in Phoenix, and my daughter has a volleyball tournament. So she's recording everything that they're doing in Phoenix, and I'm recording everything I'm doing here in Tampa, and I splice it and put it together. Well, I gotta find one moment and take a screenshot or a thumbnail, make a thumbnail, and come up with a title. And I'll tell you, this morning I'm sitting there in my hotel room, just like I'm like scrolling through my timeline, looking for that one moment to come up with a title. And it ended up being my son and my nephew were in the front row watching the volleyball game, and they're like cheering on my daughter, like, so, and I don't know, I think my wife said, oh, look at the little cheerleaders over here. I'm like, her cheerleaders. And so my son's vlogging, and he's making like a funny face, and my nephew's like making a funny face. I'm like, perfect. Because like you only get that, you have to find something. So I don't, for the vlogs, again, it's my daily life, so it's just, that's the thing. For gaming videos, again, I'm much more on the cuff. I'm much more like, oh, I have a topic I want to talk about. I sometimes will have to shoot it 2 or 3 times because I do miss things things I wanted to hit, or I repeat myself too much, because I got to a point and then like, where was I at? And then, so I definitely see the importance of pre-production and even having like some notes, some bullet points. But again, most of the time it's just kind of off the cuff about the topic that I want to talk about. And then like I'm usually recording it live while I'm playing the game. So every once in a while it's like, oh, I got that, you suck it, like it's like a reaction to what I'm playing. It's kind of built into the commentary there as well. But again, that's why I feel like I've kind of more gears shifted over to the streaming, because I do love that quick on the
well, yeah, I mean, you're also used to, like, vlogs are very in the moment, so yeah. I'm sure you do very well with that. Jez, you didn't get to talk much on the last time. Let's go to you.
My process is I procrastinate for like 8 days at a time, and eventually I hate myself so much that I just sit there for about 2 days working on a video. I OD on caffeine multiple times. I won't sleep for days at a time. I finally get the video out, and then just rinse and repeat. So it's a great existence. It really is.
Okay. Paul, I can see either one.
It depends on what kind of video it is. You know what I mean? I think if it's a guide video, anything analytic, or I'm trying really specifically to help someone understand the concept of something like a subclass guide, a weapon guide, I'm like a slave to the script. I will make sure I write everything out. I'm a super control freak with those kinds of videos. I want to make sure that everything is listed out perfectly, and I can just go through it as quickly and efficiently as I can when I'm recording my audio, putting it all together. Yeah, I just kind of think about what videos I like to see when I'm scrolling around through YouTube. If I'm trying to look for a guide myself on how to like learn a new editing technique or something like that, and I much prefer seeing videos that are very clean. It's very obvious that the person's reading from a script. It's very organized. You don't want, like, you're watching a video.
It feels more professional.
It's way more professional.
In our line, where we're doing guides and we're doing more educational style stuff, you want to at least sound like you know what you're talking about. Like, you can be 100% wrong on something maybe, but it sounds like you're right.
Exactly.
And I'd say that's, you don't want a professor talking to you like, this thing, calculus, like,
the numbers, what was it again? Paper shuffling, and it's like, there's a kitty on my recording table. It's like live on the video. It's like, you didn't edit this out? What are you doing?
Yeah. How much of your time would you say is actually spent playing the game when you do a video? Because for me,
very little.
Right. For me, if I'm doing like a DPS video, a lot of people think, oh, all you do is just play the game, and that's your life, and whatever, it's easy. 5 to 10% of the video process is actually playing the game.
Yeah.
In which case, you're not typically doing something you would do anyway. I'm not typically in the raid testing out multiple weapons on raid bosses.
Right.
Like, that's not normal play.
You're like Fallout. You don't just spend all your time in private matches with a friend testing armor levels?
Yeah, 'cause I'm sure it's the same for you. Like, that's not, like, testing out a shotgun is not normal play. shooting at walls with the shotgun.
Shooting at a wall.
You stand there, I'll stand
For
here.
a test
Camera
video,
guy
yeah, you
stands
gotta,
there.
you gotta rope in
but
a friend
that-
and be
but
like,
that's
hey, do you want to be in a private match and get shot a bunch?
Yeah, but
You gotta love it.
that's not normal play. So a lot of people tend to think like, oh, you're just playing video games. It's like, no, I'm researching a topic. I'm gathering data. I'm presenting, a thesis. I'm scripting out, all of this, and then I'm editing my audio. I'm getting my clips in a certain way because you don't just want to, plant a 7-minute clip on something that has nothing to do with it. So you got to get very specific clips to support your thing and this and that. So I'd say for most of us, playing the game is a very small part of the video making process.
I would agree.
For other people who do, like Let's Play stuff, or like Mr. Fruit, for example, most of his videos is the game playing process, but it's also a very different. He's not trying to like teach you something. Where, his gameplay videos are about comedy, having fun with his script, whatever. So for him, it's a little bit different. And for other YouTubers, yes, a lot of it is playing the game, but it's also data management, encoding, a lot of time spent rendering out footage and stuff like that. So it's not all just we play a game and it magically just shows up on YouTube. I wish. Sorry, I didn't keep going. Anything else to add? No?
Well, the script question.
Yeah, go.
I don't really use a script that much.
Okay.
That was probably like a freaking, I knew it. But no, I'll use half a script. I'll write out very important points.
Right.
If it was a news video, I'll write out, I got the quotes, I don't want to misquote anyone, I got the very important bullet points, but also leave it open-ended. I feel like, you're right, it may not be as professional. At the end of the day though, like, once you practice enough, you can make it relatively, you'll start to know what you're doing.
I mean, it's not. It's a certain level
Yeah.
that you don't want to go beneath
I
that
agree.
line.
But at the same time, you also have, if you even leave it a little open-ended, you can also have, have a little bit of personality, maybe crack a joke, maybe start talking about a different topic or relate that to something. And so it really depends on the type of video you want to make and the type of content. I mean, obviously, like, Mr. Fruit does not have a script, clearly.
Right. He's not saying like, okay, at 3 minutes and 26 seconds, I'm
Yeah.
gonna make this joke right here, and perfect, nail the cue, okay, and then in 2
5
minutes,
minutes,
the next
right.
joke's coming up.
So yeah, it depends a lot on the video and the type, of content you want to do, and practice. If you could go off the script, that's great. But you're not going to be pounding out videos you're not going to be pounding out King's Fall raid guides right first time.
Right.
It takes a while.
Yeah, no, it definitely takes a lot of practice. Okay, so we're coming up towards the end here, and we have this microphone in the middle. If anyone has any questions at all,
One line.
go up to that microphone, go ask your question. Hopefully someone turned it on.
Yep, I'm certain right now.
How much time do we have, Dado?
We got about 15 minutes.
Okay, 15
Although we're
minutes.
the last show, so if we go a little bit late, that's fine.
Jen said he's here for the rest of the hour. So any questions, non-stop.
Yeah.
He's going to be
Okay.
here all night.
Alright.
You're on.
You're up.
Hello.
So is this just YouTube questions or Destiny?
Pretty flexible.
If it's like Destiny YouTube, like if you're asking like what's the best IS lunar roll, I'd say that's not the question for this.
Yeah.
But go ahead. What do you got?
One rifle barrel. You want Icarus? Probably rangefinder.
Turn his mic on.
Okay, well, it's kind of it's more broad than that.
Okay.
Go for it.
Dogblade.
Dogblade. What about it?
Thoughts?
Well,
Some Warlock Masterclass, and it seems like a good replacement for
it
the
does.
Sunsinger.
It's
Yeah?
the Sunbreaker, but it floats. Next question.
Yeah, no, it does seem pretty good. A lot of the subclasses got, I feel like, homogenized with Destiny 2. It's like, hey, I have 5 to 8 charges of thing, and I get to do damage to all these enemies for X amount of seconds. And so it's just a matter of how you end up dealing that damage. And if you like throwing a giant sword at things, go for it. If you like throwing a giant shield at things, go for Titan. If you like hitting things with a stick, go to Archstrider. It's just a matter of how you like to deal damage. at the end of the day.
The biggest thing with Dawn Blade is, like you said, it's very aerial. They're definitely embracing that Phoenix, like, bird.
Yeah, you can dash around in there, like, constantly.
You know, you're shooting your gun, the current Sunsinger ability that when you're floating in air and as you're aiming, you kind of stay there.
Angel Light, it's horrible.
Angel Light, yeah, but it's there now inherently in that skill tree at the top, the attunement. And like you get precision kills, you stay there longer, right? When you're in your Dawn Blade, you can do all these different abilities in the air and slam down, like, so you're very much an aerial. And as we all know, we got Garrison, right? A Titan feature in the Warlock. So, I mean, obviously I only got to play at the D2 event. I haven't really played since then, and I didn't play Arc Trader at E3, so just from what I did play, I'm excited. I made a Warlock main as well.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Just want to say I'm subscribed to all you guys, and thank you for everything you do.
Hey, thanks, man.
Thank you. Hey guys.
Hello.
Dad, nice to see that you're sitting down finally.
Yeah, I'm very. My legs are so happy.
So, a question for everybody. What was your highest point in your YouTube career where you made the most revenue, had the highest amount of views, maybe either during Destiny or any other type of game you were playing at the time?
All right, all at the same time. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Taken King.
Rise of Iron. I was in university for Taken King, so I could go as hard as that out.
I'd say for most Destiny YouTubers, Destiny, but like very specifically Destiny, it was Taken King. And I think Taken King was Destiny's peak in general. I feel like most people agree with that. There's so much stuff to go chase, you know, all these new exotics, sword, touch of malice, this and that. Quests, these exotic quests now. The first 2 months of Taken King for me were insane. Like, I've never seen growth or viewership like that ever before. I had a series of videos that over the course of like a week, all of those videos would eventually hit over 1 million views. Like 8 straight videos eventually hit 1 million views. So, for me, yes, easily Taken King.
Yeah, it was the same for me, Taken King.
Yeah, I feel like that's...
I'm not joking about the Rise of Iron.
No, I mean, like, you weren't around during Taken King, and then I believe you.
This guy's always kidding around.
It's just any expansion.
Yeah,
very.
And I mean, with Destiny 2, it's going to be the same thing. It's
going to be a lit.
Destiny is a series of just hills, very short hills and very, very deep, long valleys. And then we go in a little hill and then we're back down the valley. I know that's for the game as well, but on YouTube specifically, it's like when a new, like I've already told my parents, like, look, from September 6th till Christmas, don't talk to me because I'm working. Because that's where we, you know, that's where we make the big bucks. That's where we make our money. That's where we make our viewership and our growth and all that kind of stuff. Those expansions are big updates.
Especially if you're doing like guides, and you can only do a guide once. How to find whatever. You can't keep making that. How to get the Galahad again.
Right.
The new subclasses were probably when the, like, you know, the Stormcaller and everything came out. I was all over that. That was super awesome.
Clint, what about you with vlogging? Vlogging specifically, where was your best one?
So last summer, like at the end of July, my family went to northern Florida for a sponsored trip. They flew us out there to go and have fun in their little city, little town. And we did this video where we went to Navarre Beach and those like tornado things on the water. What are those called? Water spouts, yeah. So we saw some of those. That was cool. And we thought the day was over, right? Because it looks like it's gonna rain, storm. Everyone's freaking out, like, oh my god! Like, 'cause they're like literally like 2 football fields away. And we're like, is that gonna come this way? Like, this one lady's freaking out, grabbing her kids. Get out of the water! Like Jaws. It's like, get out of the water! So I captured a little bit of that. But then we went to this like obstacle course that's floating on the water, like it's in the bay. So the bay is like, you know, it's hip deep. You walk over to it, and then you hop on. There's like slides and like wall climbs. So anyways, we did this video. The thumbnail is like, you see, like the thumbnail's in the water. You see the big obstacle course. My kids are like this, and I think it hit 1 million views in 7 days.
Nice.
Like, and I mean, I don't know how to repeat it. I tried to repeat it. It it didn't work. Like, we did the obstacle course in the air. We did the obstacle, like, it just didn't work. But anyways, that video, and then when we got back from that trip, we went on a camping trip with my brother-in-law. We had a travel trailer and a dirt bikes. We rode dirt bikes and stuff, and that's our biggest thing. And every video after that one, because like you said, it was like a series.
Yeah.
100,000 views that day. Never happened again. It never happened before that. Like, that was like, that 1 month was just amazing. I got a ton of new viewership. But you gotta be careful, because if you change, it's to all YouTubers, if you change your content, you change your content you're making, whether it's a different game, if you're still gaming but you just change your game, or you completely change the style of your channel, those viewers are subscribed to you, but they stop watching. And if they're not watching the similar content, the videos aren't being recommended or suggested to them. So there's this big, like, in my gaming channel, my early days, I played whatever. I played Minecraft with my kids, I played GTA 5 with my friends, Call of Duty. So I had a ton of subscribers on that channel for those specific games. Well, when I did Destiny at first, nothing. Like, literally nothing. No views, no suggestions, like nothing. And it slowly built that over time, but like, even to this day, I'll say right now, I'll make a Destiny video or any other video game video. It does well the first couple days because my subscribers watch it, and then it just dies. And then if I, like right now, I'm not really making hardly anything on the channel. My top 10 videos are all videos from 3 years ago, Minecraft and GTA 5. And like, the one time I streamed GTA 5 on YouTube, I had like 1,000 concurrents. I'm like, where were you guys yesterday when I was streaming Destiny? Like, they just didn't know I was there because YouTube didn't, you know, recommend it.
People just know what they like, and you know,
Yeah.
we all have been through that. Thank you very much, man.
Thanks, man.
Hey guys.
How we doing?
So,
I love you all. Just saying.
thank you. I love you too.
So my question kind of touches on the question that he asked a little bit.
Okay.
I started a YouTube channel when the Taken King came out, and I did it for about 6 months. But I ran into the problem that I'm sure you all have run into, which is the content drought and ideas on videos or what to make. Because I really like making videos, but I didn't want to just like make, you know, videos that I wasn't passionate about the topic.
You didn't want to make for the sake of making.
I don't want to make for the sake of making it. Yes, exactly. So I wanted to make something I was passionate about, but I just couldn't think of ideas. So I was wondering if you guys had any ideas about tips of what to do during a content drought and how to make new videos.
It's something we all struggle with. Like I used to be on like a 5-6 video a week schedule where, you know, everything I was doing was like a very in-depth thing, and you know, I was going into the details. But eventually, you just run out of things. Like when you're an educator, you run out of things to teach. Eventually, you know, you're not going to repeat yourself. 2 + 2 is 4. How many times are we going to say it? How many times are we going to say 2 + 2 is 4? You can only say it a couple times before people are like, okay, we get it. Like, we're not going to watch this anymore. So I'm down to, you know, maybe 2-3 videos a week, sometimes less than that. Like the last time I uploaded was Thursday, which was like a highlights video, which don't get me wrong, I feel like highlights and stuff. But then the time before that was Monday, and then before that, so I'm like missing these huge chunks of days where I could be uploading stuff. And honestly, the best thing you could probably do is just, you know, if you manage to come up with something on your own that you don't feel like people really talk about, or stuff that doesn't have an expiration date, you know, if you come up with a video idea that's like, oh, I should talk about this. If it's not something that's like a time thing, like needs to come out now, like a guide or something, if it's a picnic piece, you can delay that for when you know you're going to have a slow day or a slow week or whatever. But otherwise, it's something I would say probably all still struggle with. At least I know I struggle immensely with. And unfortunately, it's just part of kind of the Destiny experience on YouTube. It's you know, like I said, short hills and low valleys.
It's super hard. Yeah, Dad, we share the same struggle. You know, when you're making guides, it's like you can only share the guide so many times.
Right.
But then you can also look at it as an opportunity to grow in a different way. You know what I mean? Because when I was in a situation where I was like, well, I kind of put out all the guides that I wanted to put out. Is Destiny 2 out yet? No. I was just thinking about what else I could do, and you know, I branched out to other types of videos. I've been trying to make people laugh on the channel lately. I created this ridiculous character called Fallout Spot to just try and entertain people. A lot of people really were entertained by that. So even though it's definitely a struggle, and it hurts sometimes with, like, because you wanna entertain people. You know, if you're like me, I mean, like, I just love making YouTube videos. It's so much fun. But you can use it as an opportunity to sit down and really try to brainstorm. It's like, what else can I do? You know, because I've gone this far, I've done good work that I'm proud of. I can do other things. You know, you're not restricting yourself. You can use it as an opportunity to grow in a different direction sometimes.
I would say go look on YouTube, like do searches for what other people are doing. It's a good idea. You know, maybe you forgot about an idea that you had at one point because you were busy doing other things. You know, YouTube again is a search engine, so you pull up your homepage, scroll for a while, and see what things are recommending for you to watch, because what they're recommending to you is either something you've watched in the past or content you possibly have made. Because if you watch your own content, then you get put in that bucket of people who watch your content. Well, people who watch your content also watch his content and his content, so maybe you'll like their content. And then you start scrolling through their channel and go, oh, that's a good idea. I've always wanted to do that, or oh, I can do that. Like, and you know, so there's nothing wrong with mimicking other people's ideas, because you're gonna throw your own spin on it, right? People are always like, oh, you're just copying that one guy. The reality is, when Bungie announces something, I guarantee you, my Twitter feed and my subscription box are full of Destiny 2 news videos.
Yeah.
And there's a good 15 of them.
Sorry about that.
People always ask, like, what other Destiny YouTubers do you watch? I'm like, not really anyone, because whenever something happens, there's 9 videos in your feed, all of the same exact news.
Right. So I mean, like,
and I just reported on it myself.
Right. Everyone's reporting the same thing. So there's nothing wrong with that, because everyone's going to find the person they like to hear the news from. Right. We all have our favorite news stations. Right. So I mean, that's what I would do. Like, I mean, there's those lulls and it depends on what you're doing, right? If you do guides and you want to look at other guide videos, what's a guide that I haven't made? You know, how can I take what he did and throw my own spin on it? Or you didn't talk about this one thing, I'm going to talk about that one thing. You know, that's what get inspiration from others.
I laugh when people say that Destiny is dead on YouTube or in a slow period, because I've grown more in the slow periods than I ever have in the peak periods. I think it's just a limiting mindset that people have, that they can't come up with videos. It just forces you to expand the way you think about it, and it forces you to be more creative than you're used to being. So yeah, I don't even think about lulls.
Well, you also do a very specific style of content that doesn't have an expiration date.
Yeah,
if someone wants to go to your channel and they see a video, they see like an in a nutshell video, they can go to that playlist, and that's a timeless playlist. It doesn't matter when you watch; it's always going to be funny, right? Like, comedy is not going to lose. Comedy doesn't have an expiration date, you know. Whereas stuff with like guides, like how to get Touch of Malice is only going to be good for Taken King. Like, that's it. Like a Zur video, it's good for 2 days. After those 2 days, dead. Whereas the kind of stuff that you make, timeless. Anyone can watch at any time. It's gonna be funny.
Plus, he's super cute.
Stop it, thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna start this is a great time to announce my new series, In a Nutcase. It's a comedy series. It's gonna be great. You guys know a lot. But to answer the question, I think I agree actually. What Jez said is that you gotta be creative. You gotta look at outside the box. You can't just sit there and be like, oh, I can't make guides anymore. I better give up. I think, if you look at the PvP guys a lot, you'll notice, as time goes on, they start to test less and less meta weapons. Is this weapon good? Spoiler alert, probably not that good, but people want to see it. Can you make this gun work? Can you make this non-meta gun work? And if they're entertaining, if they're good, and the video is good, then they've succeeded. As for the news videos, that's one of the things I started doing. I started doing news videos because, to be honest, I like doing them, and I would go out of my way and look for and consume all the news myself, because I was like, oh my gosh, I want to know everything about Destiny 2. So I started just doing that, and people like it. And another thing that's important is also, like Clintus was saying, see what other people are doing, but also you gotta differentiate yourself. One of the things I do in news videos is that I'll say the news and I'll say, well, this is what this means. You know, when the Rise of Age of Triumph got announced and said no more vault space, I could not just read that and say, all right, now moving on. I was like, well, no more vault space? Well, let me tell you about that. And some people don't like that, but some people do. But it differentiates yourself from those other people who are doing essentially the same videos. And so some people are going to like the content with a little bit more extra. Some people like just the bullet point stuff.
Yep.
It's fine. It's room for all.
Love it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Thank you. All right, we're hitting the 4 o'clock point, so we'll take some more questions, but we're going to try and
keep it lightning round. Yeah, we'll go lightning round here.
Hey guys, just quickly, if you could think of one off the top of your head, what is the most memorable comment you've ever had on one of your videos?
Memorable comment? Fallout Plays look like a Muppet. Someone told me I look like a Muppet. I don't know why. You've opened up a box in my head. Repressed memory.
Which one?
Most recently, just like that I can get off the top of my head, I made a guide video on the redone Vault of Glass. It was like a 30-something minute video. It went over literally everything. Within 5 minutes of that video being uploaded, someone said, this video is a piece of crap, I could have done this in 10 minutes. 10 minutes, all chest locations, and I was just like, do it. I look forward to seeing this. Mine was, it started as a YouTube comment, but then I got an email afterwards.
The best.
Yeah. Basically, it was a mom thanking me for making my vlogs and sharing my life because her son was autistic and didn't have any friends. And he wanted to come see me at a conference in Orlando here called Playlist Live. And he wanted to come have a meet and greet, right? He wanted to come meet us. And the tickets were sold out, and they found some on Craigslist, and so they made him a deal. They said, if you go to school tomorrow and sit down and make a friend at lunch, come back and tell me what his name is and something about him, his favorite something. He came back the next day and said, I met Jimmy, his favorite sport is baseball, his favorite team is Boston Red Sox, and he had this whole long thing, and I literally just got goosebumps. She's like telling me all of this, and so we bought him tickets to come see you, and he's coming there now to see you. It's while I'm at the conference, and then like an hour later, there's a line of people, I mean, a meet and greet like here. That's like 10 YouTube creators, and there's this kid like bouncing in the line, and my wife and I are standing there, and I'm like, I mentioned that's Cameron. I saw his name. He comments on every one of my videos, and I reply to him, and but I was like, I mentioned that's Cameron. And when he got to about like 4 people, he just jumped out of line, like ran and he gave me a hug, and it was like the most amazing thing. And I've had stories like that similar, but that still sticks to me. It's like 3 years ago, and like I said, he still comments. He has the same, goofy little picture for his profile pic, and so that's like I said, I just got goosebumps. Like it's like the fact that the content that I create has that kind of impact on anyone, let alone a child. That's the most amazing thing.
Love it. Next question, we got time for one more, maybe 2 more. One more.
It's supposed to be lightning round, not
sorry.
last.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good.
Most memorable YouTube video that you made?
Ultimate Crucible Guide.
For me, it's got to be either Touch of Malice or Outbreak Prime. Touch of Malice, I did in complete secret.
Lightning round, Dada.
Touch of Malice, I did in complete secret. I worked until 9 in the morning, found the weapon at like 3 a.m., worked all night, blindsided everybody with the weapon and the video, and it was a very, very memorable moment.
You go for it.
A funtage called Please Nerf the Night Stalker that I really enjoyed making.
That was really good, yeah. Maybe my Destiny 2 vlog, had a lot of fun with that. Thanks, man.
First, just want to say thank you for all you guys for everything you've put out for us. Y'all are awesome. I just Gatto during the charity stream, watching Keep Talking was freaking hilarious. And Jez, the way you approach making videos is pretty much my life philosophy. So
thank you.
Seeing you around at the con has been awesome.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully, quick question. Just suggestions for I'm getting started making videos like this myself. Anybody like myself that is suggestions for potential software to use for creating videos and piecing everything together.
Sure. So, I mean, if you're not looking to spend a lot of money, you're probably going to be stuck with something like Windows Movie Maker or iMovie and Audacity. Audacity is a very good audio program.
Sony Movie Maker specifically is like the cheaper version of Sony Vegas, and it's actually quite good.
You can also Adobe's production suite now. You can rent all of the programs on like a monthly subscription. You can rent every single program for like $50 a month. Or you can do individual ones for like 20 a month, but obviously if you use more than 3, you're going to just want to get all of them. I mean, stuff like that is going to be more than good. I know freaking Horde Console still uses
Windows Movie Maker,
I'm pretty sure Mason Sean uses like iMovie or something like that as well. Like, you don't have to use crazy soft, like you don't have to be Avid certified to make a YouTube video.
The only thing you gotta spend money on is, funny enough, a mic. You gotta have a good quality mic. You can't have a terrible mic.
Yeah.
Like that's so
That's
important.
it. That's good.
If someone
Lightning
goes to
round.
your video and it's bad quality mic and it's cracked, they're just gonna leave.
Yes, it's software.
That worked out pretty well.
Yeah, we planned. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Real quick, if you guys could bring one exotic and one legendary to Destiny 2, which would it be, and maybe a couple sentences why?
Plan C, because Loot Nation.
Good pick. Hawkmoon and I don't know.
Pocket Infinity, because it's hilarious.
Yeah, I want a new game.
Trick question. Armor piece, Ruin Wings, because
Good call, yeah.
just whatever the power weapons are going to be, just get more of them.
Yeah, fair call. Love it.
Thanks, dude.
Yo.
Your favorite moment from any game?
Get close to the mic, I couldn't hear you.
Favorite moment from any game?
Favorite moment from any game is either killing Ragnaros in original vanilla World of Warcraft with my clan, with my guild, Orange Hammer, or doing Endless Setlist 2 on Rock Band 2 with no pauses on Expert with my college roommate over the course of 7 hours.
Greg Much. Beating Half-Life 2 for the first time.
Beating Halo Combat Evolved, very first time all the way through on Legendary.
Oh wow. The final story reveal in Bioshock Infinite. I love Bioshock, and that story reveal is awesome.
For me, it'd be my first nuclear in Modern Warfare 2.
Okay, last question.
There you go.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you all very much for coming out. Let's go to the